and welcome to episode 22 of the House of Royale. Today I have a beautiful, super talented, all-star pop star. She's just a unicorn, and also her soul is as deep as the ocean, you guys. This story is so incredible, and she's here to share that with you, to change your life, to help you remember that you're not alone, and to inspire you. Everyone, please welcome Miss TK.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I've dreamed this before. I'm so happy in the 22nd episode. I've been dreaming for 22 episodes that I'd be on. I'm so excited. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
I just saw you perform at Los Globos, and we were just talking about this. I mean, I was going to bring this up way later in the interview, but I would like to just off the jump say, to see, when you think of a pop act, you just, you think Britney, and you think like dancing and singing, which you are top of the top level dancer.
Thank you. So are you.
Like, but I mean, you're really like in class training, and you can tell.
Thank you.
But to see you get on the piano, it floored me.
Thank you.
And just the way you play too, like you play like you have been playing your whole life, which you have.
Yeah, I have. So thank you. I appreciate it. Sometimes I forget I play piano. So I appreciate that. I think it's really interesting. I put so much like energy into the choreography and the outfit changes and things like that. And for some reason, I think it's really nice because it's like probably the most intimate part of my show is like sitting down at the piano, just talking. Like, you know, it's not scripted. It's not rehearsed. I literally just sit there and ramble, which I do all the time. And, you know, it's not timed because a lot of like my set, I have 30 seconds in between and I time what I'm going to say. I never end up actually saying that, but I time what I'm going to say when my next song is. And that was the only time in my set where I like actually got to talk and sit at my piano and sing. And that's where I write all my music. It's like my home.
That's so another thing though that you have is like the crowd work and the interaction you have with your fans and the people watching the show. Like there are a lot of artists out there who don't necessarily have that banter. They're not very good at like getting the crowd to laugh or, you know.
That's my favorite part of my show. I don't know, like as an artist, like I rehearse the shit out of my show so that I know once I get on stage, I can live my best life and do whatever I want and whatever happens, so that I'm always able to fall back into choreography or fall back into the song or anything like that. Yeah. So those are like my favorite moments. So thank you for that. But.
The answer is no. I don't rehearse ever. That's
insane. Like I do not believe that because every time I watch, guys, I don't even think you realize like I met you. I can't even remember how old I was when I met you, but
years ago.
It was when I first moved to LA, and like I think it's because I grew up watching, you know, Britney Spears and all these incredible pop star artists, and moving to LA, I was like, everyone's amazing, but no one gave me that like it. Like, oh my gosh, you captivated me. And then I can't remember where the first time I saw you perform, but I remember watching you and I was with my mom. We were both like, oh my God, what just happened? Like, just, you have such a balance of poise and like relatability, which is very hard to balance.
Thank you.
And you are like an art of that. And I remember watching you for the first time and being like, I want to have that impact on people when I'm on stage. Like,
I feel the same way about you. I feel the same way about you. And you, like, it's crazy because in LA, you would think there would be so many girls doing a show like that.
And they are talented, but it's like you have something.
Like, you know, look at our Spotify playlist, right? Like, or Apple, whatever. I
don't listen to Apple Music either.
Like, you know, all the pop girlies that I'm listening to right now, like you got Madison Beer, Sabrina Carpenter, Zara Larson. Zara's got it. She's like the dance queen.
She slays, yeah.
She's closer to Britney. But when you're really comparing these girls to what Britney did,
like my idols growing up.
Yeah.
I feel like
It was the Pussycat Dolls.
Right.
It was. And then after that, it was kind of like, who is really doing that? It's hard to find. Madison Beer is a gorgeous voice, amazing, but it's like the dance aspect isn't there. There's always something missing.
It's the performance art of it that I feel like I am just captivated by. That's personally what I love. That's what I've like grown up being inspired by. And then I think moving to LA, like you were one of the first artists I ever saw do that in front of me. And like at an event I was at with people that I knew, and I was like, this is the, like, why is no one like on the floor right now? I actually probably someone did faint, but I was like, this, I'm like hyperventilating. This is amazing. But I get so inspired by people like you. And I'm like, I don't know if you've ever had that conversation of how much you've inspired me in the past couple years.
That is so...
For sure.
Oh my God. Okay.
Hands
well,
down.
This interview is about you. Okay?
Well, no, but also like,
you.
and then I saw you started a podcast and I was like, oh my gosh, like you are just like everything. But
well,
anyways.
let's talk about that. Like, I want to talk about timing and the music industry because... You know, you kind of right now we're seeing Y2K and the 90s coming back full force, and I feel like, oh my God, maybe this is TK's time to shine, because when is the pop gonna come back? You know, and all of us pop girls are kind of like waiting for that era to like really
for that moment.
Yeah. And I think that we do have artists like that. Like I love Gia Woods and like Kim Petras. Like it's, you know, you're starting to...
I love Kim Petras.
Yeah, like it's creeping through the cracks. And I feel like it's about to happen.
I hope so.
Where we see pop make a return. And timing is everything. The universe is so magical that way. When I saw you perform at Los Globos, and this is just, what, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, like this is the universe kind of like tapping me on the shoulder going... Things are happening and like the world is shifting, and like TK owned it. Like you kept owning it. You didn't let it go. And like, I know this is really sad and like tragic for me to say this, but I did. I really did. I kind of was like, you know, we had a good run. I was signed 3 different times. I was on the radio. Like I had that kind of like BS validation or whatever, but it never happened for me. And I kind of just was like, you know what? It's okay. Like, but then seeing you on stage, I was like, wow, like, maybe there is a moment for this pop thing to come back. And then Ricky and Samantha, like choosing a pop life at the place that she's in her life too. It's kind of like, you have to just do it.
You do. And I think that's the scariest thing about the industry is you take the leap or you don't. Like those are the options. In full force, like it's your entire life or it's not at all.
Yeah.
And I know for some people it doesn't have to be that way. For me specifically, I think the way that I was raised and also taking the leap from Texas to LA, I was like, I'm not gonna do this unless it's my whole life. And you know, I've had different curveballs and things like that, and like growing up and being like, oh shit, like I have to like also figure out other ways to live life and other passions too, because it can't consume you. Especially when it's not paying the bills yet or things like that, or you have other people helping you out. Like
we have Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, whatever you want to use to pay us.
Yes. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's also the interesting of like, I've had such a passion since I was 2 years old to now like I'm 22. So like 20 years later. And being like, I still have the same passion is the most insane thing. Like, I really don't know many people in my life that have lived that way. And for me, it's literally been 20 years of like, this is what I'm going to do. And this is how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to keep doing it. And I will literally live the rest of my life fighting for that.
So let's talk about that journey. I mean, amen, girl. Amen. Like,
so I'm glad I gave you like some kind of inspiration, because I've also had those moments where I'm like, okay, gosh, like,
I think I've had
should I just move back home? Like,
every artist
should
goes
I
through
just
that.
like buy a house in Vegas like everyone else is doing and just like come out here when I can, or I book a show and not like,
do you know what I was saying to the boy I had in my bed last night? I was like, everyone's so over the Grammys, and one day I just want girls like us to like own the Recording Academy.
That'd be amazing.
And like it'll be us and our homies at the award show, and like we win everything because we own it. And I'm like, I don't even care if nobody cares about the Grammys anymore. We won everything tonight.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You know, like
and they just keep calling our names and applauding.
Yeah, to me that's justice. Like,
no, I think that's amazing. Yeah.
So I was talking
I'm down.
about that.
Can I be a part of that?
Yeah,
I'll pitch in.
I think we should just stay in LA until everyone fucking leaves. And then we own the town. And
I mean, I feel like we already did that with the pandemic. Like, and then
it's happening.
All those bitches came back. But
yeah. We're the roaches that never leave, y'all.
No,
okay, we're not leaving.
I'm like, you literally, like, you can cut off my head, my legs, my freaking toes, and I'm still here.
Yeah.
For some reason.
So the beginning. Texas, how did dance start? Home life. Let's get into it.
Yeah. So I grew up in Dallas, Texas, South Lake to be specific, if you're from Texas. And
go Texas.
No, not really.
No, we're not.
I mean, I was just there, slay, but I guess. I mean, it is my roots. You know, I feel like everyone has that, like a love-hate relationship.
Only the good parts of Texas.
Yeah, I also I love the arts district. I got a lot of my inspiration from like Deep Ellum and things like that, like random places. And also all of my like major teachers and like role models growing up are from Texas. So like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with Texas and where I'm from, which I think is very normal for everyone that's been in the industry.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mom put me into dance lessons when I was 2 because I was like, she tried to make me a sports girly.
Okay.
That was really not going to work out for me. It's very interesting. I grew up with older brothers, so I'm the youngest and I'm the only girl. I'm my mom and dad's only kid, so that was also a thing too. So my parents ended up getting divorced, and that was like, I was just the repercussion of that. I was 13. So my mom put me into dance lessons and singing lessons and all of that. Like, I did my first dance recital when I was like 2 or 3, and I think immediately, I don't know how, I mean, I don't remember it, but there's videos of me like being a little girl, like doing all my dance moves. Like, it was like instant, like that's what she's gonna do. And my mom was like, oh my gosh. Because she only had like boys that were, you know, my brother was playing lacrosse and basketball, and we all went to a private Christian school. My mom was like, this is going to be a freaking journey. And it still is, you know, so many years later. Love you, Mom. And yeah, so I ended up moving out here. I was primarily dancing and acting at that point. I did fly back and forth between New York because I had a music manager in New York by the time I was like 10.
Wow.
Making music in New York. And like I said, I like knew I was going to do this like that.
When did you start playing piano?
I started playing piano. So actually the one thing that my mom had my brother do when I was younger was play piano. So we had this big, like beautiful, like black grand piano in our entryway of our house in Texas. And my brother decided once he got into high school, he was like, my brother's 9 years older than me. Once he got into high school, he was like, I'm too cool to play piano. Like, I want to do sports. Like, this is bad. And it was so crazy because he would write songs. Like, he was probably more creative than me. Like, he always has been. So, like my mom did, she was like, well, we have this freaking grand piano that we spent so much on. And I've spent so much money on lessons. I'm putting Tori in it. And so that's kind of how I ended up getting into like writing songs, piano, and singing, is because my brother quit. So I probably would have found a different way and a different path that the universe would have taken me on. But that's like how that happened. So when I was like 7 years old, she put me into like classical, like at a conservatory. I did piano competitions, only played classical.
Okay, that makes sense.
Only played classical music, like a crazy person. By the time I was like 7 or 8.
The way, you guys, she was on stage just like,
oh, the technique has never left me. It's like starting up in dance. Like for me, it was like doing piano and doing point, like I did, or doing ballet and doing point and doing all those different things. For me, it was like that. Where like now I do hip hop and like heels and like jazz.
Yeah.
But it all stems back from that technique. It's the same thing for me with piano. Like I started out with classical, like learning Beethoven, things like that, and then it switched to now I'm like learning Dua Lipa songs on the piano that are like 4 chords. But
it's amazing.
It really has stemmed all that technique. I'm so thankful that my family saw that passion and put me into all those different classes. They were a pain, and I hated all of them for the most part, but it definitely set me up for success. But once I was 10, I kind of realized I want my first manager and like kind of branch out. So I ended up going back and forth with New York. My mom traveled with me. And yeah, I auditioned for Broadway a couple times, kind of realized that wasn't really my journey. I just never really saw myself on Broadway. I'd still be down.
Same.
Long enough in the journey in LA, I'm down. Broadway, call me. I would be down, but...
And Vegas. I was always anti-Broadway in Vegas, but now it's like, Voltaire is pretty cool.
I get to perform on stage and get paid. Bet.
And get paid.
Get me there. And that's why I'm saying, like, growing up in the industry, I'm like, now I'm like, oh, why didn't I just do that?
Yeah. Well, times were different.
That's very true. Yeah.
But now we know the consequences of a major label record deal.
Yes.
Major consequences.
Well, I thought that was going to be for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
scary.
So I was like, let's just move to LA and go for it. And I was like, oh.
So as a teen, when did life start happening? Because you've been through some really serious stuff.
So then from there, I was really primarily into acting. Shout out to all the actors going through the strike right now. I was really into like commercial and theater and like feature film and really got into that. And so I ended up moving to LA for pilot season for like 6 months. I did do something. Do you remember Awesomeness TV like back in the day? So I had a show with Awesomeness TV and they were going to pitch it to Disney and all that jazz. And then my parents ended up getting divorced and I moved back home for 3 full years. So from 13 to 16, I did absolutely nothing.
Oh my God.
Like everything was stripped from me.
Lord.
Everything was stripped from me. I did not really get to see my mom. My dad got full custody of me. And then at 16 years old, I like ran away from home. No, I didn't. I just got in my car because I literally had gotten my license just to run away. Nobody else had any idea about that. But I had specifically gotten my license and like went through all of that just so I could literally drive away from home. I was slowly packing my stuff up and transitioning it over to my mom's when I was able to see her.
Wow.
No one knew of that either. And slowly moved myself to my mom's. My mom had no idea. And then I ran away from home at 16 and never looked back.
Wow.
Yeah, and moved out to LA at 16 years old. It was a freaking battle that only ended 2 years ago. I think like when I was 20 that we went through our last court case.
Wow.
I went back home for Texas. My mom was like getting threatened to be put into prison. And I like right when I turned 18, my father sued me with a defamation case, which I was like, wow. Because I put out, you know, I never say his name. Like I never say anything like that, but it was definitely one of those, you learn a character very, very fast when you're very close to it. And
Amen.
at 13 years old, I was like, oh, like, whoa. It was like, it slapped me across the face.
Same. Honestly, same. And I will speak on that really quickly just because I know we have a lot of kids out there dealing with this right now. For me, I have 2 brothers and they're younger and Jake was a child. Like my mom wrote us a note and she took her own life and he was, you know, obviously not mentally ready for, I mean, nobody is, but he was just like so young. And my dad, instead of like being there for us, he took the life insurance money and flew to Hawaii and married a stranger. And like ditched his sons, you know, which I might chop this out, but
wow.
Yeah, because it's hard to say because I don't want to throw him under the bus.
Right. But that's what becomes so difficult about sharing your truth is like, I don't want another defamation case. But I also don't want to like, there's no shade to anyone. It's just my journey. It's just my truth.
It's facts. It's what happened. It's the timeline of events.
Right.
And it's what occurred.
Yes.
And even after that, I was still like, I'm the woman in the family. I have to glue everyone back together and like try to make everyone be.
The pressure falls on you.
And it just, my middle brother was like, you don't understand who we're dealing with here. Like he knew the whole time and it took something extremely devastating for me to wake up and realize who my dad was.
Interesting.
And so I haven't spoken to him since like 2016. So yeah.
So I'm kind of on, it's interesting my life because everybody around me somewhat knew, but my mom did such a good job of covering it up my whole life. And he traveled a lot for work. So I really, like, I really am convinced I did not really know my father until I was 13. And then living alone with him because I was his only kid and I was also the youngest. Mind you, I'm 9 years younger than my brother.
Yeah.
My older brother who was already in college and living his life and doing whatever. So it was literally just me and my dad and my old family home. And that was like, I learned firsthand. I'm like, there's even some things that I like, you know, years later, my mom and I still are like unraveling everything that happened and going through it. And I'm in therapy and like working through things.
That part too.
And there's some things she learned. She's like, I would have never believed that. Cause it was just like, she never even had that experience of being one-on-one. And especially like, you just don't believe it when that's your kid. Like it's different when it's your spouse, but when it's your like only kid, that's the things that are shocking. And sometimes I think that's what's hurtful too about sharing my story and being so hesitant with that is that it's very hard as a victim to be believed.
Yeah.
And that's really not the purpose of my life. My purpose of my life is not to get anybody to believe what I've gone through. My purpose of my life is to heal and use it in a way that I can inspire other people and help other people heal and get through what they're going through. It's not to get you to believe me or even trash other people.
But a perfect example is Brittany right now coming out with her book and the judgment that she's receiving, you know, from the men. And it's like, this is the patriarchy. Like, this is why women have always been so scared to come out and say it because we get trashed.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like attractive and you're like,
thank you.
especially, well, I mean, you're gorgeous. I'm just saying like the general.
Yes, and Brittany and
you know, like women,
it's hard.
It's like if you look like a cold hard attorney or like police officer, it's like you're probably it's more likely you're gonna be believed. But when you look like a cute little pop star, it's like people are like, okay.
They're like, okay, just get on stage and sing. Like,
yeah,
that's
like,
what you need to do.
Or she's probably lying, or she's probably on something.
Or like she just wants like some attention.
Yeah, and just
like,
for the record,
okay.
I've been sober for a long time, everybody. So like, I'm not saying wild things because I'm on something, like, which is another thing that people say to women that look like this, is that we're drinking or on drugs, which is not true.
No.
At all. I don't think we're even allowed to say that on TikTok, but whatever. So it's beautiful that you are able to, in a cordial, respectful way, reiterate what happened to you.
Right.
And it's not about trashing people. It's just, it needs to be talked about. And it doesn't mean that your parents don't love you, kids. And it's not your fault, okay? It's because they are dealing with deep-rooted ancestral trauma. And men in general have a lot of...
Yeah, I cut off my entire side of that family because I realized it wasn't just him. It was that entire family. And that's, you know, that's who they are, and that's perfectly fine. That's just not my cup of tea, nor was it what I needed in my life at all. And that was just a choice I made. So, you know, now my mom's gotten remarried, and I have new step family, and I've created my own chosen family that are also my creative team out here in LA. And those are the people I want in my life.
Yes. Amen.
And that's okay. I don't think
another hard lesson to learn, though, as an artist is like, it is really weird that we can't truly rely on our friends and family to be like our support, like coming out with a new single, and then you're like, do I text my friends about this? But like, I'm not going to, because they're probably so annoyed, you know?
Yes. So really funny. So like I've you know, obviously now that I'm like 22, I feel like I'm finally embracing like my post Disney Channel era, as like some artists say, you know, like Britney went from like, or even Zendaya went from more clothed and conservative to like now. I feel like I'm finally in that transition of like, I'm just living my life and I'm saying whatever I want to.
Well, even looking at your photos today, I'm like looking at the difference, like the shift.
Right,
I'm like,
a name
oh my
change.
God.
I went from Tori K to TK just because it felt like it was more me. But mind you, that was an entire conversation I had to have with everyone where I was like, this is how I feel.
Yeah.
This is my identity. I was like, oh my gosh, like this feels like a way bigger conversation than it needs to be. I'm just changing my stage name from Tori K to TK. Like everyone needs to calm down.
Yeah.
And also I was like, also by the way, I don't want to wear the purple in my hair anymore. Like I just want to like have it as like part of my look.
Yeah.
It's an accent, because the color purple was like an identity for me the longest time.
It's so funny because I went through a super violet phase like in 2017, 2018, and I was like, I hope TK doesn't think I'm copying her. It was Rhonda actually that was telling me to wear purple, because she's like, it looks really good on you on the carpet. You need to keep.
It does. It looks really good on our like skin tone. Like that's why I started wearing it. And also like purple was always my thing. And I think just like growing up, I was like, people always told me that too. They were like, purple is never gonna always be your thing. You're gonna grow up and you're gonna hate it. And I was like, I love it still. I just like, I find the love in like making it an accent and making it more of like a pop.
When
than,
I
like,
was in
my
high
whole
school,
outfit.
We had like 4 different houses, but one of them, my bedroom was painted all purple with a ballerina.
Oh yeah, no, my room's still purple.
Dude, I would same. I think I've always loved purple too. It's so wild.
Yeah, so like coming out with this new music, it was really funny, like because you say like you can't really rely on your family and friends. My brother just got married back home in Texas, so like literally this week, I just got back yesterday, and like all of my brother's family with all this music that I'm coming out, I cannot even tell you how many times, like every single mind you, I've not seen these family members in like maybe 10 years, like a whole decade. All of them looked at me and goes, girl, you need to keep putting on, like in their Southern accent, because they're like conservative, like Southern, lovely, oh my gosh, the most like kind and nice people are like, girl, you need to put some clothes on. These songs are crazy. I hear what you're saying in these songs. And I'm like, you would think my family would be hyping me up. Like, yes, your music sounds so good. They're like, oh my God, what's going on? And I'm like, you know what? That's how you know you're doing it right, because my family can't handle my music anymore.
You know, a really famous comedian, I won't say your name, but he was like, why are you wearing that? And I was like, do you realize that every pop star on stage right now on the planet is wearing latex or lingerie?
Literally.
Sir? Like Beyonce,
unless you're
Dua.
like literally on the Grammys acting like that, everyone else thinks you're insane. But you can't act like that unless you get there. Like, how am I supposed to get there if I don't act like that now?
But you're changing the narrative. Yeah. I'm changing the narrative. Like, we're in LA. We're allowed to do it.
And I'm like, literally my next single cover, like, that releases next year, I'm like naked and like just someone's holding my boobs. And I'm like, oh, just wait. It gets worse. I'm doing more.
But I said yes to your show, TK, because I was like, I can be me around her and I won't.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, like we need more of us, or maybe just a few more, not too many.
Not too many.
Yeah, and like, you know, start doing.
No, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, like start doing shows more often with, you know, 3 or 4 artists that we.
Well, that's why I think I was so happy that I did that show, and I had so many incredible like friends of mine perform, and it was just so cool to get so many people that are like so eccentric and so them and so authentically them.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I had it to where like all of y'all performed and then, you know, I went last. It wasn't really because I needed my moment. It was because it was so amazing to get up on stage after seeing everyone be so authentically themselves and amazing that it made me feel so like I can do whatever I want to and these people will support me. But that is like the best thing ever.
You were the headliner and it was a headline show. I mean, it was an arena show. Like if you had pyro and like, you know, a few more dancers, it would have been a Britney show.
Thank you. Well, you know, it's funny too because I look back on it, I'm like, that was a little extra for what we did. But I was like, I did 6 full wardrobe changes in 30 minutes. That was a little extra. But also I'm like, but that's what I loved about the show. It's just but so fun. That's what being the artist is. Like, I think it's so
important.
Amazing.
It was important for you to do that because I have goosebumps. This is insane. I have permanent goosebumps from this conversation. This is so hysterical. You have to fight for that. Like, I don't have the courage, so you do it for the people that don't. You know what I mean? Ricky has the courage. He doesn't give a fuck. Like,
Ricky is iconic.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah, it's like we need more fearless people doing costume changes.
Yes. You know, and it's really interesting that you make it like that claim because I've never looked at it that way. I more look at it as like, I always say my biggest fear is letting my younger self down. Like I do it for little TK. Like I do it for little Tori that's from like South Lake, Texas, who was like dreaming of living in LA and doing 6 wardrobe changes at the Grammys or whatever. Like I do it because I'm like, this is the set I've always wanted to do. So why not do it at Los Globos? Like for my birthday. Yeah. Why not? Like with a DIY budget. Like why not? I don't need the label budget. I would love it. But I don't need it to make my dreams happen now. And like, let's just go for it and go full force and do what we can.
Have you ever performed at Barson?
No.
They asked me to perform.
Okay. And
so I asked Ricky about it and he's like, oh my God, I've performed there like 20 times.
Oh, of course he has. He's amazing.
So I'm like, well, why don't
Ricky.
like hop on the bill and like help me sell tickets?
I'm so down.
Would you want to?
I would love to. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just think I just love
performing.
Together.
I don't care if you perform on the side of the road in front of a trash can. I just love performing. Like invite me. If you decide to perform tonight on the side of the road, I will join you. Like, and we will sing Unholy together and strip. I'm just so excited. Like, I'm just honored. I'm honored. I'm like, yes, absolutely.
So some tea. I hate bringing this up because
what did I do?
No, you didn't do anything. This is.
I always get scared when people say that. I think it's gonna be about me.
No, it's about Kim. I used to do music with her.
Okay.
And Aaron Joseph.
Really?
Hi, Kim. And I
love you.
I covered.
Sorry, is this gonna be bad? Should I not say that?
No, it's not bad at all.
Okay.
I think that it would be so cool if we could just put the fame to the side and be like, hey girl, hope you're doing well. That's it. Because I think it's...
And come to the show and perform and I would literally throw up and pass out.
Yeah, and come do the pod. Because I think it's important for all of us to remember, even if you're out there winning Grammys and you're super, it's the people that you were with from the beginning that had your back, that still have your back, that are still your friend, that you should definitely just...
Yes.
Hey, girl. Like,
well, I always say, like, there's always room on the tour bus. Like, my goal in life is once I am at that level in my career where I have a tour bus and I can pick and choose who's on it, there's always room. Yeah. Like, there is always, and that's like, it's a metaphor for like, I will always, whoever is with me right now is who's coming with me. Yeah. And like traveling the world with me and doing everything with me. So there's always room on my freaking tour bus. And every person that I meet that makes an impact in my career right now, there's always room on the tour bus. I'll get 5 more. Let's do it. That should be on your one of your shirts for merchandise. There's always room on the tour bus? Yes! I would wear that shirt. Would you? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, maybe. Yeah, I've always said that my whole life. So I'm like, even my dance teacher that taught me when I was 5, there's room on the tour bus for you because I remember you and I love you and you're the reason I am who I am today. And you're amazing.
That needs to be a hoodie. I love that. I can just see it now.
Yeah, there's always room on the tour bus. Yeah.
Now I'm like
you're
designing.
You're like, oh, and this should be there.
My ADHD is
Maybe we should
so
have
bad.
a little heart in the corner in a spotlight. You're like,
okay, you know what I want to talk about?
Yeah,
what time
let's
is
go
it?
for it.
I want to talk about production.
Yeah.
Because only 2% of music producers are women.
I saw that that's your 2024 goal. I watched you and Ricky's like interview.
Yeah.
Love y'all.
I definitely. What program are you using, Xavier? Pro Tools? Yeah. So I started learning Pro Tools during lockdown, and I didn't really like it.
Okay.
But I'm going to get back into it.
Yes.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do the top line hook of a song.
Okay.
And track.
Right.
And stack.
Right.
And then just pop it on TikTok to like get myself confident in like tracking vocals and comping vocals.
Because you said like just like 30-second like little verse chorus and
yeah, getting my vocal chain. Like, ladies, what is your vocal chain? That's gonna be a shirt that I sell.
Okay.
What is
that?
Your vocal chain?
Yeah, I feel like I've been doing this for years and I still like I'm like so.
See,
I'm learning.
And
so
if
much.
we turn it into a T-shirt, it's like hooked on phonics. It's like note cards. It's like flashcards.
Yeah.
Vocal chain. What is it? Okay. And then we know. And then when you're in the studio with a man, when he starts talking robot, you're like, oh no.
Oh, I am like the definition. I shout out to my producer, like Lamar, LAX producer. He deals with my like little blurts of word vomit of what I think it should sound like, and then he actually makes it happen somehow.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, you hear this part of the song? I really like that sound. Can we do that? And he's like, out of the 3 billion sounds I could pick, sure. Let me try to find one.
And
but he does it, and he's amazing.
That's
Love
always
you.
their response, which is so annoying. What they should say is, "Come over to the computer, and I'm going to show you how I'm creating this sound."
Yeah,
that's what producers need to be doing, but they're gatekeeping. I mean, nothing against your homies, but. It's gatekeeping.
Yes.
Like, we need to be learning. Okay, so your vocal chain, right? Let's say you're doing Slave for You.
Okay. Yes.
What is on the mic as Brittany is tracking her vocal? Okay. It's compression. Xavier, what else is on there?
Auto-tune.
So
a little bit of auto-tune, plugins.
Yeah, so the vocal chain is it could be sidetracked or it could be directly on the track. That's where you add your EQ. That's where you add your compression.
Okay.
That's where you add your auto pitch correction if you need it. Or
Well, we want it. It's not about
would
needing
a generic
it.
term be like your vocal settings that you like?
Vocal chain. Vocal chain.
Well, I'm saying like the generic term though. Like would that kind of be like user friendly?
Chain.
Okay, got
It's
you.
chain.
Right. Okay, yeah, that's
But
me,
you
'cause
can
I don't like
actually-
auto tune when I record.
Like on your notes in your phone, you can have it in your notes. Exactly what you want on the mic.
Okay.
And if
that'll
it
be
don't
nice.
sound right, you can be like, well, I did a session yesterday and it sounded like this. So don't even give me that. Because some producers will be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Or like, I can't reproduce that sound. Or if they're unable to do it, you know that they just don't have the skills.
Interesting. Okay.
So if you memorize your vocal chain, you will always know when you're tracking that vocal, it's going to sound crispy clean.
Okay. This is like a personality quiz.
Yep.
Why isn't that more popular? I've literally been in the industry for so long and I've never heard this before.
Because gatekeeping is a thing.
I'm like, I've recorded how many songs and I've never heard this before.
Now you know. The more you know.
The things you said in between there, like compression, EQ, things like that. All of that I know, but not the summary of the vocal chain of what it actually is.
So can you imagine sitting at your computer and pressing record and having your voice sound amazing and stacking it by yourself?
I love that for you. For me, I think I would actually go insane.
Yeah.
Personally.
But we have to get over it.
I
Because
know.
otherwise men will keep winning.
Yeah, no, you're so right. And
you don't have to produce your own
struggle
music.
with the like. No, that's where I'm like I can't make a beat. Like
You don't have
there's
to.
other people that do that and they're so much better at it, and that's why I pay you to do that, and I don't do it myself. Because it's so much better.
Well, I mean,
especially with like how picky I am with my tracks and things
Yeah.
like that. I'm like I could never, and also I would probably end up just like punching myself all day.
But the Slave for You beat is very simple.
Right.
And it's like if we were to sit down and learn it in a support therapy group together.
I'm like, just be prepared for my 50 mental breakdowns.
But that's the thing. I feel like
because I will. No, it's like a thing. Like I will.
I know.
Even setting up my Wi-Fi in my house, like my router. Every time I have to reset my router, I literally have a whole mental breakdown and have to take an hour break of my life.
It took me a
So
year
just be prepared.
to set this up. Okay, this was a nightmare. Talk about a nightmare.
I would actually like probably just quit.
I have quit so many, but I am telling you,
this is amazing.
We're gonna have coloring books.
Yeah.
And when it gets too rough, you just start coloring that butterfly, girl.
I love that.
You just start rhinestoning.
Or what I do is I
bra.
paint my nails.
Paint your nails.
You know what? Like just leave.
We'll get that E6000 glue and we'll start gluing rhinestones on something.
No, that's exactly what my mom and I do for therapy. It's really funny because you mentioning this, like my mom and I did attempt to buy a mic and record my own vocals at some point, and I think that might have been worse than me trying to do it on my own.
Okay, yeah.
It was me and my mom, and I love my mom, but we should not be producing music together.
Well, okay, but the term producing music is it's too big.
But you're meaning like vocally produce.
We're talking about a coloring book.
Right.
Okay, with a butterfly, and we're just gonna press a button with our vocal chain. And that is all we're gonna think about.
And that makes me want to cry. But I hope that I believe you that you can walk me through it and hold my hand.
We're gonna do it.
Okay.
We're gonna have a session at Ricky's house.
Okay.
We're all gonna have our computers with our little
I'm
mic.
just preparing you that I will probably not wear lashes or makeup there because it'll all be ruined by the time I leave.
Just blot your eyes.
I don't know why, because I'm Gen Z. I'm supposed to be able to be like handle all this technology, and I can because I've grown up with social media. But when it comes to things like that, I'm like, I can't even set my Wi-Fi router. Like I actually get so frustrated with technology, which is really sad
because we have to inject the laughter and like the childlike. It's got to be fun and childlike because we all have
like the
severe ADHD.
Parents do. They do the little like roller coaster to then like
to feed the child.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna have to do with me.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the airplane. Just press the button. And it doesn't even have to be. This is the other thing, ladies. Like there's this girl with a song out. It's called Hot Girl Stunner or something, or our Real Hot Stunner. Real Hot Stunner.
I don't know how to
walk in the club and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, that sounds like the
she's a TikTok viral person, and she's like from Alabama or something. She's super hot, and she she tracks all of her own stuff.
Oh, that's amazing.
And Todrick, like she got hooked up with Todrick.
Todrick's an icon.
For Real Hot Stunner.
Okay.
And he was like, this is dope. And he like put her on. But it's talkie. It wasn't even singing.
Right.
So could you imagine like just having a bass line? I'm a real hot stunner.
Yeah.
And you recorded it.
That's amazing.
And then Todrick was like, oh, I like that. It's just, we have to change the perspective and the outlook of this. We can do this.
Yes.
If you can put on a pair of point shoes and do a pirouette in point shoes, you can record a vocal.
Okay. No, that made me believe myself. That was the pep talk I needed.
I swear to God.
No, and I'm so here for it. Like I really am up for the challenge. I joke that I'm like gonna have a mental breakdown, and I probably will, but also like that those are the moments where I'm like, I'm not a quitter. Like I will be down.
Yeah, we can do it.
I'm so excited.
And then it's like, you know, a year from now you think, wow, I thought it was gonna be so hard. And now it's like stupid.
Yeah.
Like it's a piece of cake.
Are you into like vision boards?
Yes.
Okay.
Girl.
I make a vision board every single year.
I'm like a real witch.
I'm like, I love that. No, and I'm like outside of the world, but I want to be in it more, where I'm like, I'm so much, because like I have such big goals for 2024 that I really want to accomplish. And so I'm like, vision boards. But I think that'd be cute, because I think that would also get me there very much so if like at Ricky's we also did vision boards.
Yeah. We need like,
and I'll bring
photos.
the glitter, and that's what we'll do if I get overwhelmed, is like just work on your, glue your pictures onto your vision board.
Yeah, we need to print out photos of all the girl producers.
Yes.
That are literally doing the K-pop records, the pop records.
Yep.
Who are the girls doing the pop songs? I want to know.
That is true.
I know a few of
I was
them.
watching you and Ricky's interview and like podcast that y'all did, and when you mentioned that, I was like, that's actually so true. I don't know why it didn't click in my brain. There's so many other industries that I think, wow, where are all the females, like the talented, iconic, like power women in this industry? And I don't know why, but it just never clicked in my head that we don't have that for producers. Or like vocal producers and things like that.
When Timbo is like put a muzzle on her, like that is literally why. And I'm referencing what's going on with the Britney thing, you guys. Hopefully it'll make sense, but I don't want to get into it. But like women are always told, like, just go over there and like be cute. Like, just do what you were doing. Cause like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
We're hormonal. We're emotional. We're like, we're just a lot.
Which is true, but in a good way.
But that is why we're so powerful. If you use it
for like, yeah.
Yes. And that's why we're going to take over the music industry.
I think so.
We just have to cradle it like a little baby and take care of it. And
well, it's like what T Swift's doing with like re-recording all of her music and putting it out.
Do you know what happened though?
And even like she's fucking boosted the economy. Like what
but
is
did
going
you hear
on?
the backlash with that?
What?
Was it the Recording Academy said no one else is allowed to do that ever again?
Okay, well.
Can you believe?
But
artists are not allowed to re-record their music now because of what?
Why are they deciding that?
Why are they deciding if girls can have babies?
That's, you know what? That is so true. That is so factual.
Well, not the Recording Academy, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the government.
But no, it's synonym, you know?
Yeah. It's so, I'm just like, okay, so we take one step forward and Taylor's our congresswoman and she's like making waves.
I just love that Taylor Swift is now our
president.
Yeah.
She's our president.
She's leading the way.
She literally is the president of the United States.
In my head, she is.
Yes. So
yes.
Nobody else can call out Scooter Braun and just blast legal docs on Twitter and just be like, it's a Tuesday, y'all. Like, get with the program.
It's because also like women have such a, and I say this in the nicest way possible because it is a cult fan base.
Yeah.
But like in the greatest way possible. Like I think it's magical how Taylor Swift just has that. She's worked her butt off to get there.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't come easily, but she also has like that. Like there's so many artists, especially female artists that I see out there. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's such a dream on just having something like that and using it for a good purpose.
Yeah.
Is what's amazing to me.
Can we talk about this? That brings up a real hardcore area that needs to be worked on. Women being in healthy friendships and maintaining them.
I feel that deeply.
Like we are women supporting women, like everyone's about it, but like when you get into the nitty gritty of women and why, dick is a reason. Okay. Like let's say there's 5 hot single girls.
Yeah.
And Channing Tatum walks in the room. All of a sudden,
all the friendships are to shit.
It's a problem. And it's
none of them are friends anymore.
It's wild because it's so deeply rooted, you know, hundreds of thousands of years ago. It's like the tribal fight or flight. Like,
and at this point, I don't even know if it's really stemmed in that anymore. I think it maybe started out that way.
Yeah. But
now it's like so deeply rooted where I'm like, there's not even a man in the room. What's going on?
Right.
What's going on? Why? I don't understand.
Yes, it's internalized misogyny. It's our own insecurities.
Yes, it's like subconscious at this point. That's what I'm saying. Like it's like subconscious to where we act now, or not we, because I'm not a part of that. But they act now to where I'm like, Amanda didn't even have to be in the room at this point. It's like it's so crazy.
Like as much as I want to lie to myself and be like, I don't care about. Like, okay, like the person I'm sleeping with right now, like if I post with them in it, I almost get worried because like I'm friends with so many hot girls that I'm like, which hot girl is going to try to get after him? Like, it's so funny to me that that's even in my brain.
Yeah.
Because it happens.
Yeah.
Like last year, I was working with a producer and I've known him for a really long time. And I finally had to just stop working with him because this girl who I was mentoring, I warned her and this other girl, you guys cannot be at his studio by yourself. And if you want to work with him, let me know. And either I'll go with you or you need to have a buddy system because it was not a safe, right? And instead she goes behind my back and starts DMing him and pulling the whole game, flirt, all of it.
Like you were trying to just be there to like control the situation and because you were jealous.
And then she texted me one night and she was like, hey, I just want to say thank you for hooking us up. We just did a song together and it's amazing. And
that's so weird.
So I texted him and I was like, can you call me? And he called me immediately and I'm like, do you know why I'm upset? And he's like, because I let a 22-year-old come over here by herself. And I'm like, yeah, And I'm like, the fact that you're saying that to me right now is
because
like,
you knew.
it's wild.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when someone finally decides that it wasn't consent and you get in trouble, I'm not there for you.
Right.
I'm out.
Right.
And that's the whole thing.
Because you
like,
tried.
So
interesting.
that was literally the last male music producer I worked with, because I'm just like, if I'm going to be on a soapbox preaching this to women, I can't be like lying to myself
Right.
about like allowing that.
Or like doing this and still working and putting yourself in that environment.
Yeah. So I just think that's another reason why is like being a girl, it can be really divisive, like with the men too.
Yes. Yeah. It's so interesting because I wrote a song, like maybe you remember it. It was like Girl Power when I was like,
Yes, of course.
like 9.
That song has so many streams on Spotify. You guys need to go stream it.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
But I wrote it like so many years ago, like, and just like I'm bringing it up because I literally wrote it when I was 9, like with this in mind. And it for me, I think it was more like bubblegum and like rainbows and like unicorns and things for me, but I wrote it with the like, why can't we all just be friends? And like, why can't women rule the world and not compete with each other, or like, why? And then I also wrote a song called Kings where I wanted to be the king. I didn't want to be the queen. Why do I have to be the queen and the king gets to be the king? Like it's literally like since I was young, I've had these beliefs and like been writing about it, but like didn't really think that it meant anything or was really that deep. And the older I've gotten, I'm like, these issues not only have gotten worse, but my passion for it has gotten even stronger. And so it's like now Girl Power and those songs that I wrote when I was 9, I look back on them and I'm like, that is insane. Like, because it's still what I'm going through to this day where I'm like, why can't, you know, I be in music, and if something good happens for me, why can't you support me? Why isn't that a like go girl rather than a like situation?
Like,
I guess.
do you know Queen Herbie? Oh my god! I'm literally gonna change your life.
Okay,
Queen.
You already have, but yes,
girl. She's been married for a long time. She's killing it. Like her and Nick were signed as Carmen. Okay. They were like with RCA, and then they left the label and they were like, this, you know, it was BS. And so then they created Queen Herbie, and he's her producer. Dream. Okay. What a dream. Your husband is your music producer.
That's amazing.
And you stay together forever.
I actually get more jealous when they're like married to like a videographer, and I'm like, oh. And of course, my dream is to be followed around by a camera person. Yeah. Like that, but they're married to me.
Yeah. My dream is to just be married to the guy.
That's my goal in life, is just be followed around with the camera my entire life. That's all I want. I just want a documentary and a reality show my whole life. I've always wanted that.
Well, you can have it.
But I'm saying like, that's my goal. Like I'm like so jealous of people that marry like videographers or something.
I think that is definitely something that is helping her in her relationships, because she doesn't have to worry about that competitive weirdness.
And it's probably such a cool creative bond and environment that they've,
and I mean, who knows,
cultivated. Like
it's a marriage. Like
that's
I'm
true.
sure
It probably just as much as has the highs, it has the downs.
Yeah,
right?
But it's also it's just the thought of like, how do we become neutral and like keep our head down and just be about the work? And then the girlies are like, oh, actually, I'm not scared of her because she's such a workaholic, and like she's not gonna be about the BS and like the hoe trotting thoughting. Whatever we're calling it these days. the thought trots.
I love the thought trots. That's amazing. I love that.
Right? I mean, I love being a hoe. Like, I wasn't having sex at all for a really long time. And then, you know, it's just the monster comes out and you're just like, where's my next dick? Like, I have to have it. I love that
for you.
I know, but it's dangerous because I'm like, now I'm back I'm just trotting along down the streets of LA. Like, who's next? Who's next? You know, like dodging a dick, trying to catch a dick. Like, it's awful because I'm like, oh no, like I want the girlies to like trust me and like be and love me.
But I feel like those don't need to be.
It coincides.
I know, but I wish it didn't.
I wish it didn't either.
Yeah.
But maybe if we get married, it'll all stop. I don't want to get married.
You don't want to get married?
I don't think so.
No.
I think it always just ends in.
No, I feel that as a child of a traumatic divorce, I fully feel that.
It's a lot of money.
It is.
I don't know.
I just went to my brother's wedding. It is.
Oh, well, that. But the divorce, I mean.
No, that too. And just the trauma.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. I think we need to really like have an empire.
Yeah, the music industry costs enough.
It really.
I don't need a marriage.
What time is it? 5:25. Okay, can we talk about boyfriends?
Oh, sure.
Or I don't know if you date girls too. Possibly.
She's fluid, a little bit of both.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So how do men, when you're dating a guy, well, or when you're dating anybody, is it difficult for them?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard of Raya?
I'm on Raya.
Okay, yeah.
I don't
so
like
I used
the
to
guys
be on
there.
Raya. It's I've had very interesting. I was in a situationship for like 3 months, I think, like at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
And they literally started dating me. He had just moved like from New York. I honestly love him, like not putting him on blast. I'm not gonna say his name. But he moved out from New York, and like this was like his first year out in LA. And I think especially that was probably my first mistake, was like he was, you know, like new and fresh, and was just like very excited to date someone who was in the industry and who's been here for a while. Like I think he wanted me to show him the ropes. And you know, for me, I'm like, and especially my family, like we in my creative team, like we just immediately like put people under our wing.
Yeah.
And like I showed him like all the social media tricks and like things like that, and I took him to industry events. I introduced him to everyone, and then literally he went, I think it was like maybe the third event he went to with me, he got back home and broke up with me because I was too much for him. And he was like, your friends are too much, you're too much, like this is too much. And I was like, what? Like for me, I'm like, if I was more insecure, I would have been bawling my eyes out. I cried for maybe 30 seconds and I was like, this is stupid. Get out of my house.
No.
And then he was like, but I would love to come to your next show and like support you. And I was like, absolutely not. I only want people there that don't think I'm too much. You think I want you in the audience thinking I'm too much? And I literally looked at him and I said, I hope you realize I'm probably going to write a song about you, and I hope that's not too much for you. And I kicked him out of my house. And I've never spoke to him since. And like I really wish him the best. And honestly, like I've dated so many people like that. And I think it's really hard dating in the industry and being with people in the industry as well.
Yes.
That's where you primarily get it. I've mainly dated people in the industry and I've gotten that. I can't imagine what it's like dating people outside of the industry and also how to handle that. It can be really difficult on like
just lie about everything.
Well, and I also joke
and barely see the person.
Right. No, literally. And I'm like, and also I think they get pissed too because my life is also like being on social media is so important. Like I'm like, are you going to be mad at me that I spent an hour talking to you and not to you, like to them today? You know, like those kinds of things. And I'm like, but that's my career. Like that comes first. Talking to Rochelle is first. Like, you know, like this is first. So,
Yeah.
and it's hard to get someone who understands that. But I mean, I do also want the fairy tale. Like I said, I would also love someone who supports me and is there for me like 24/7 and understands everything. And
let's manifest that. We want someone that's gonna encourage us to take our lives to the next level. Like he's got to be ambitious and a go-getter,
right?
But also like, babe, you're the shit,
right?
Like I am your number one fan. And I can't wait.
Well, and
to
my
see.
confidence should make you more confident, not less.
Yes. Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah. It's really interesting. That was probably like, I think definitely, because I was in a very long-term relationship when I was like first really heavy in the industry as I got older. And then I got out of it and like newly dating and being as hardcore as I am with my career. It's very interesting to navigate.
Yeah.
And also just watching my friends go through it.
Like, would you go on a date with Pete Davidson?
No, I honestly am not like that. I don't know why. Like, I'm just not, like, I'm not into like super.
What about Machine Gun Kelly?
No. I'm sorry.
What celebrity?
I think you're great, just not my cup of tea.
What celebrity would you date?
I think it was like, what was it that I just did? I did an interview where it was like, they asked me my celebrity hall passes.
Oh, okay.
And I was
Why,
like,
are you in a relationship?
I am.
Oh, okay then.
Yes, but like, it's very, very new. So I'm like,
okay,
you know, I'm treading those waters, but also like very thankful for what I have.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't believe in those, but if you're asking me like the celebrities that I would date,
okay,
hands down Kalani.
Who's that?
Okay.
Oh, wait, the singer?
Yeah.
The girl?
Yes.
Oh
my God, she's amazing.
Kaylani.
Yeah, okay, that's how you say it?
Kalani?
Kalani? I don't know.
Xavier?
Kaylani? Which one is it?
You don't know.
I know who she is.
Slay.
I feel like
I
K is better because Ka is like colonic. Like Kalani.
Okay, Kalani.
Kaylani.
Kaylani. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
okay, yeah,
we love Kaylani.
Okay. And then also Bryson Tiller and like The Rock.
Bryson Tiller.
Do you know that album? It's like one of my favorite albums of all time, Trap Soul. He's an amazing R&B artist.
Oh yeah, I totally duh. Like yeah, I have a poster of him on my wall.
I clearly have a type, so yeah.
Oh right, okay. Like Michael B. Jordan.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Who else? There's so many hotties. What about King Batch? I think we should hit up King Batch to do a TikTok with him.
Yeah, no, like that's what I'm saying. Like I'd be buds with everyone.
Yeah.
I'm down to hang.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm very picky with who I'm like with.
Yeah.
Very
same.
picky. Yeah.
What
about you?
I like the Latino stallion that I'm
Do we want to manifest that?
banging right now. It's muy caliente. Okay, so we're gonna end the episode on that note. But I want you to tell everyone where to follow you, the songs that they need to add to their pop playlist.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah.
To stream in the car.
All right. You can follow me on all my social media at Tori K Unedited. I just released a new music project called See the Vision. It's pretty much, I dabbled in every single genre under the pop umbrella, from like R&B pop to rock pop to EDM pop to urban pop. So go stream those. That's LBB, MMM, PEG. And When and Where is coming out soon. I also am about to drop like a documentary. Like it's a mixture of live performances and interviews of me just like getting ready, like full. It's like a whole 22-minute like doc thing.
Wow.
It's called Get to Know TK, and it's kind of just like introducing myself as my new like mature, like evolved person and artist. So I'm really excited about it. My goal for next year is to tour with Pride. That would be like an amazing experience. I'm gonna work on my vision board, and yeah, that's about it. Follow me at Tori K Unedited and listen to the new music and all the stuff.
Yes.
I'm just living life, so come join.
And you guys can catch us live on TikTok learning how to produce next week.
And me bawling my eyes out making my vision board.
Okay, you guys, this was episode 22 for Miss 22-year-old TK. We love you guys so much. Go follow your dreams. Go do something today that makes you happy and joyful. And we're sending you all the love and hugs.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.